Dear colleagues, this presentation will highlight key findings from 4 years of research, focusing on the decolonial uses of heritage within Afro diaspora communities in Chile and Colombia. Since 2009, the massive migration of black people to Chile has intensified racial oppression against them, alongside growing xenophobia. In response, black women's collectives from Colombia, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Mexico, Venezuela, Brazil, and several African countries have developed a series of initiatives to assert their heritage and combat kukojmuimu. A central strategy of these groups is what I call the process of embodied heritage transition through hair, a decolonial practice centered on their bodies and hair, encompassing socio-visual, aesthetic, political, and psychotherapeutic dimension. Numerous studies highlight the significance of hair across all cultures, particularly among African peoples. Headdresses and hairstyles are not merely artistic expressions of beauty, they also serve as symbols that connect hair to gender roles, social status, power hierarchies, occupations, transition rituals, and life stages. Hair is also believed to possess magical properties. It can invoke deities, provide strength, bring luck, ensure fertility, cast spells, and enhance sexual allure. In certain contexts, hair can symbolize punishment, defeat, submission, dishonor, and exclusion. The hairstyling process carries special meanings. The act of combing involves the comb as both an artistic and emotional object, fostering a unique connection between the stylist and the person being styled. Combing is regarded as an act of affection, trust, and healing. During the enslavement period in the Americas, slaveholders imposed restrictions on black people's hairstyles. In nearly all slaveholding enclaves, wearing very short hair or turbans was mandatory. Racists also imposed restrictions on the hairstyles of freed black women. The Tignon Law was a tactic used by white women to visually equate free black women with enslaved women. However, it failed. Free black women transformed the headscarf into an elegant and striking headdress. In the early 20th century, black women sought to assimilate into white women's fashion trends. Black and brown women began using hair straightening products, adopting white women's hair textures and hairstyles. Under the guise of appearing well-groomed and elegant, many black cultural and political figures used caustic soda to straighten their hair. In poorer communities, hot iron combs were used to achieve straightened hair. To this day, many black and African American women straighten their hair or alter its natural curly texture, often relying on mechanical, thermal, and chemical treatments. These practices can cause significant damage to hair health, leading to breakage and even baldness. One of the earliest cultural and religious resistance hairstyles among black people was the use of dreadlocks. Originating with the Rastafarian movement in Jamaica in the 1930s, it later evolved into an international fashion trend. During the civil rights struggles in the United States in the 1960s and 1970s, many black activists embraced long, natural hair as a symbol of resistance. This style, known as the Afro, became both a fashion statement and an elite trend. With the rise of the hippie movement, many white individuals embraced this hairstyle, influenced by its symbolism and style. Across much of Latin America, very curly hair and black hair are often referred to as bad hair. This term not only implies ugliness, dirtiness, poverty, and a lack of class, but for many black people, it also reflects the challenges of styling, caring for, and maintaining aesthetically. Today, many mothers struggle and feel overwhelmed when styling their daughters' hair, as the tradition of Afro hair care and styling was largely erased by slavery and racism. Roberto Alvarez, a Cuban-born singer and hairstylist specializing in Afro hair, uses his music to critique hairism and colorism. In one of his songs, Robe sings, "Mind decolonization. Who told all those people that my hair is bad? As if my hair were a criminal. My hair hasn't stolen, killed, swindled, or raped anyone. I declare it innocent." Colombia serves as an emblematic example of decolonization through the aesthetics and uses of hair. Numerous studies have explored how enslaved black women utilized their hair in remarkable ways. They used their hair to transport seeds, send messages, and mark landmarks, paths, and passages. Braided maps woven into their hair indicated escape routes to the palenques. In Colombia, traditional hairstyles and contemporary recreations continue to thrive. The most common braids include sunken, virgin, moon, Colombia, grape, calabash, butterfly, beautiful maiden, hearts, centipede, little flowers, mesh, and farrowing sow. Afro-Colombian braiding has been a candidate for the Intangible Heritage of Humanity designation, and its influence has spread across many Latin American territories. Weaving Hope is an Afro hair event that has been running for over 20 years. Organized annually by the Association of Afro-Colombian Women in Cali, Colombia, it serves as a regional benchmark for decolonization through embodied heritage. Emilia recalls, "The braiding practice gave me hope that I could advance academically and formally prepare myself, and that's what happens to many women now." In northern Chile, the Daughters of the Azapa Valley organization is a highly influential group. Aisneth shares, "It wasn't until 2000, thanks to the Oro Negro NGO, that I began to embrace my roots and let go of shame. Only when I turned 50 did I finally dare to let my Afro hair grow naturally." Another influential collective in Santiago de Chile is Negrocentrics. Paula states, "Wearing your hair natural is a revolutionary act, a political statement. It dismantles oppressive structures, challenges hegemony, and declares, 'This is me. I refuse to conform to imposed standards. I will embrace my true self.'" Not only hairstyles but turbans also play a crucial role in decolonial resistance. Angelica states, "The turban is more than just a piece of cloth we wear on our heads. It represents identity, history, and memory. It has allowed me to connect with other Black, white, and indigenous women. The turban is an identity we can share." Soil Mad Nigra is a project platform that merges research, creation, and exploration of Black heritage and body aesthetics. It also actively promotes the economic development of Black women. Angie states, "A turban is a non-verbal language that speaks to identity, aesthetic expression, and heritage. In Colombia, the Afro turban serves as a powerful political symbol, representing identity, resistance, and cultural pride. Black Colombian women are often highly engaged in political and cultural activism. The use of turbans and ancestral hairstyles is not merely an aesthetic choice, it represents the historical depth and contributions of Afro-diasporic communities to the formation of territories in Colombia and the recognition of their territorial rights. Several groups, such as Mata y Pelo, work toward the social integration of Black people, educating new generations about the decolonization of their bodies and hair. Razor states, "If we empower Black children, we help eradicate all forms of violence, discrimination, racism, and rejection among them." Project Rag Children by Cuban activist Michelle Montano emphasizes the need for Black body representation in children's toys. The initiative encourages children to create narratives that include Black figures, fostering inclusivity and cultural awareness through play. In workshops with Black girls in Chile, despite anti-racist guidance, most girls under the age of 8 still express a desire to resemble a white, blonde woman with long hair when asked about their future aspirations. This suggests an early internalization of fairy tale princess ideals, particularly the myth of Rapunzel. The need for strong, idealized representations of Black pride is crucial to bridging this psychological gap and countering discriminatory beauty standards. In closing, I would like to introduce a concept that I believe encapsulates the complexity of decolonial work surrounding Afro hair and its cultural significance. After 4 years of participatory action research and ethnographic studies with more than 32 groups in Chile and Colombia, alongside the production of 5 events on the topic, we find it fitting to propose the concept of the process of embodied heritage transition. Embodied heritage transition refers to the process of disembodying historical racist heritage while embracing a new socio-visual and political legacy. Scholars such as Rodney Harrison, Hua Yu and Jiaoyin Mai, and Marina Svensson have explored the relationship between heritage experiences and various forms of embodiment. However, the concept I propose takes on a broader meaning. It represents a decades-long process in which diverse groups and Black associations, across different territories, developed tangible ways to confront internalized racial oppression and reclaim their bodies. Given the deep racialization and historical violation of Black hair, though not the only affected feature, its plasticity and aesthetic significance allowed it to become a material expression of shifting representations of Blackness. The practice of working with one's own hair emerges as the most emblematic representation of decolonization, illustrating the arduous transition from inherited racism and violence to a new, emancipatory heritage. This concept expands on the idea of the body as heritage, not merely as a passive receptor but as an active laboratory where heritage is shaped, reworked, and the cultural representations of diverse human groups are continuously redefined. It is important to emphasize that this concept does not merely refer to a one-time event, a special festival, or an exclusive practice that revives tradition for an extraordinary occasion. Rather, it embodies a collective process that ontologically transforms each individual, forging a new way of being and experiencing life. This process reconnects each person with the biographies of their ancestors, not as passive or commemorative memory, but as a means of reactivating and reinterpreting the past, projecting it meaningfully into the everyday life of the present. Summarily, in the case in question, the process of embodied heritage transition through hair serves to disembody racial oppression, rebuild a sense of self, strengthen ancestral connections, Recover a sense of belonging. Embody non-racialized representations of blackness. Foster unity among diverse origins and territories. Achieve political, educational, and healthcare representation.